City volunteers issue prepaid debit cards to residents affected by the Carr fire in California. We look at a former baseball coach's 10-year plan to develop baseball for underprivileged children. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. We begin the program today with some news from the United States. The Carr fire in Northern California has been burning for more than a month now. The latest statistics are 7 people have passed away, and it is considered to be the 7th largest wildfire in California's history. Tzu Chi volunteers have issued prepaid debit cards to almost 400 affected households.
The Carr fire in Northern California that started in July of this year, according to the latest statistics from the California Fire Department, has resulted in 7 casualties, burned more than 92,000 hectares of land, and is listed as the 7th largest wildfire in the history of California. Currently, 98% of the fire is under control. Volunteers from all over California spend an average of 4 hours traveling to the hardest hit city, Redding, to distribute prepaid debit cards to the affected residents.
That someone would be so willing to give of themselves to reach out to help others. And I think that's the greatest thing, to reach out and help other people when they're going through a very bad, very difficult time. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Turning compassion into actions, motivating everyone to do good deeds.
I can't thank enough. And as I said, my wife and I would like to continue that and help others from here on.
I came back today to visit because when I left yesterday, I felt something in my heart. And today I wanted to come back and see all the friendly, smiling faces that were here.
The smiles and embraces of the volunteers were a stable force to all the affected residents. It really encourages them to bravely move forward in rebuilding their homes and lives back up again.
In the aftermath of the recent floods in southern Taiwan, DaAi volunteers went directly to visit the village chiefs to obtain information about the exact number of flood-affected residents. After getting the list, they plan to dispatch teams to visit the households in the coming days. Team members and volunteers have set up a medical station in front of Bao'an Temple in Zhangtan Village. Many residents who have been injured while cleaning up have come to seek medical attention. The residents feel helpless as they've been soaked in water for a week. The volunteers have started their visits in different villages in Dongshi Township. They first visit a village chief.
These are 8 bags imbued with Dharma Master Zhen Yan's best wishes. There are food inside. However, we are not visiting the flood survivors today. We might come this weekend. We would like to know in your village how many households have been affected.
In the aftermath of the floods, the young people have gone to work, leaving behind feeble elders who need caregivers. The volunteers have come to greet them, hoping to calm their anxious minds.
Jiayi County has been devastated by this natural disaster. However, we are very fortunate that we were not affected. Therefore, we should do our share to comfort these affected residents.
Tzu Chi volunteers continue to care for the flood survivors. They have come to Guogou district of Budai town.
In Guogou district, there's a total of more than 3,000 households. More than 1,000 households have been affected by the floods.
People must be scared facing such severe floods. We want to wish you peace and safety.
See many elderly residents. The volunteers are concerned that they might be frightened by the floods. Despite the rain, the volunteers go into the small alleys to deliver the aid bags and Dharma Master's consolation letters, hoping to calm the residents' minds. It has been more than a week since the severe flooding occurred in all of southern Taiwan. So the volunteers quickly mobilized various teams to aid affected residents in any way they can. This included setting up free clinics in various areas. For Budai, Tima members from both Changhua and Taichung came to support a free clinic that was set up at the local borough chief's home.
One by one, each senior citizen is transported directly to the Zhong'an Borough Chief's home. This is where the free clinic is being held by Changhua and Taichung Tima members.
Their feet were injured during the floods, so we need to use the shuttle system to bring them to and from the clinic. The volunteer from Taichung has driven about 5 to 6 trips. As for me, more than 10, I think.
Our team normally would conduct regular free clinics in this area and even go on disaster relief missions. This time, it's our own folks in our community that is in need, so we need to work even harder.
This grandmother, who was transported by Xi'an Borough, had fallen in front of her house 2 days ago. She had only used ice for the injury, and now the wound on her knee has been keeping her up at night.
My whole front yard is muddy. I opened the door and it just completely slipped. I fell face forward onto the muddy cement and couldn't get up. I was in so much pain and lying in the muddy waters.
The Taiwanese population is aging. If the elderly people have no close relatives caring for them, then it's really hard for them to function in daily life, especially when there is a disaster like the flooding this time. And the aftermath of a disaster, what we as volunteers can do for them is still very limited. However, at least it's still some aid. Our team of medical personnel are all very caring and are there for them, both medically and spiritually.
Due to the physical strain and emotional stress, the villagers are deeply affected. The traditional Chinese medicine doctor from the Dalian Tzu Chi hospital helped the villagers by providing acupuncture services.
After a disaster like this, many people will suffer from fatigue, insomnia, muscle tightness, and anxiety. The body will be in constant fight or flight mode, which is very tiring. Acupuncture is a great way to help the body recover faster.
Whether it be the Central District Tima team or the Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital medical team, both are on the same page of helping the affected residents recover medically and spiritually.
The floods in Kaohsiung caused many roadbeds in Gushan to be damaged. Meanwhile, in Tianliao, some residential houses were devastated by various mudslides. To comfort these flood survivors, Tzu Chi volunteers divided into different groups to care for them.
The narrow window was where Grandma Lin Cai Shouzhu escaped from. Upon hearing this, Tzu Chi volunteers felt heartbroken. This is located on the second floor of the house, which has a simple kitchen and a bathroom. On the day of the flood, 83-year-old Grandma Lin Cai stayed and slept here because the first floor was completely flooded. She asked for help at around 4 a.m. and was rescued with the lifeboats at around 5 a.m. After 4 days of cleaning, the home finally looks clean and tidy. However, at the other end of the area, the situation is totally different. The most severe floods that took place in Tianliao was on August 23rd and 24th. Back then, the mud behind me was washed into the house. Worried that the mud flow would occur again, this family feels anxious and uneasy. We divided into 4 different groups today. In Tianliao, the volunteers have cared for 40 households. Meanwhile, in Gushan, another group of volunteers have come to the foot of Soushan. As the roadbed above the house is badly damaged, the residents are worried they will be affected. The volunteers brave the wind and rain to care for 10 families, which not only eases their anxiety, but also warms their hearts.
Tzu Chi volunteers are busy with the flood relief efforts. Dharma masters and volunteers at the Hualien Jingsi abode have worked non-stop to pack Jingsi instant rice and dry nuts for various distributions. These foods will be immediately delivered to other affected areas. Here's more. Everyone's working the assembly line to pack the food. Dharma masters and volunteers at Jingsi abode are preparing instant rice and other food to be delivered to the flooded areas.
We are packing the rice to be delivered to the disaster area. We've prepared 6,000 packs of instant rice. Today, we plan to finish another 5,000 packs.
Among the helpers is volunteer Chen Liangda from Tzu Chi Japan chapter. He still remembers the experience of 311 earthquake in Japan.
In the aftermath of the 3/11 earthquake, Dharma masters at the Jingsi abode quickly sent us a lot of instant rice. After listening to the broadcast, I thought I now have the chance to give of myself. Having hot food in these times of disasters can calm one's mind.
As Tzu Chi volunteers start to visit the flood survivors, the Jingsi abode is preparing food, hoping to help the affected residents get through the tough times. DaAi Technology has developed cut-resistant gloves and puncture-proof insoles. Tzu Chi Foundation has given 118 pairs of such gloves and 300 pairs of insoles to the soldiers who are helping with the flood relief cleanup efforts in Zhangtan village. With the protection of these products, the soldiers can be better protected when they help the affected residents move their items. In the aftermath of the floods in southern Taiwan, a lot of soldiers have come to the severely flooded Zhangtan village to help the flood survivors clean up their homes. Since they've been moving large furniture pieces for days now, there have been some minor injuries.
The ones who got injured were bruised or scratched while moving items. They were well treated at the medical station, staffed by Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital medical personnel.
Hoping to prevent further injuries, Tzu Chi Foundation provided the hardworking soldiers with the newest invention from DaAi Technology. They introduced them to the cut-resistant gloves and puncture-proof insoles.
After repeated testing and following Dharma Master Zheng Yan's guidance, they were able to manufacture these puncture-proof products. They can protect our hands and feet. Safety is of the uttermost importance in situations like these.
Teams of soldiers have come to the affected residents' houses to move the damaged furniture. After putting on the cut-resistant gloves, they feel more at ease.
They're cut-resistant and allowed us to have better grip when moving objects. We're afraid the wounded items would hurt the soldiers' hands. If injured, we cannot continue to carry out disaster relief work. It has helped tremendously.
I believe that wearing these cut-resistant gloves can truly protect our fellow soldiers while they conduct the cleanup work. We're especially grateful to Tzu Chi for their spirit of great love.
Besides the soldiers who have been providing help to the affected residents, Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital's medical team has also been in the hard-hit zone for the past week, providing the much-needed medical services. Children in rural areas may be raised by their grandparents, single parents, or even new immigrant mothers. Sometimes their parents may not even be around, which makes it easy for these children to go astray. Former CPBL baseball coach Xu Shengming noticed this as he too was born in Kaohsiung's Meinong area. In 2012, he came up with a 10-year plan to develop local baseball as well as teach children to be brave in the face of challenges.
我喜欢棒球，可以学到自信。我喜欢棒球，因为我变得很勇敢。我喜欢打棒球，因为可以让身体变得更健康、更强壮。我喜欢打棒球，因为可以让我变瘦。
Each day begins with the rising sun.
I leave at 5:30 to go pick up the children, which wastes a little time, as I have to leave a little earlier.
Baseball coach Ke Jinming is like a father to many children.
Parents sometimes are not very encouraging or supportive. Sometimes children will be late or not even go to class, so we have to pick them up.
This child is a center fielder for the Meinong Elementary School team.
Sometimes I can get up on time. This may make the coach wait.
On the baseball field, Ke Jinming is both a kind and strict father.
You see your things here. When you get here, you need to put everything neatly. You can't just follow your normal habits.
Playing baseball comes second. The most important thing is to have a good attitude. This tradition stems from the spirit of the former Chinese professional baseball league coach, Xu Sengming, who recently passed away. Xu Sengming and the Meinong PhD Association put forward a 10-year plan to start baseball in Meinong.
Winning or losing is done together and not a personal thing. Children learn this cooperative spirit from an early age.
Xu Sengming was also from Meinong, and the plan to launch baseball was started in 2013. The next year, he died of a heart attack, shocking everyone. This baseball project is currently in its 7th year.
When these children practice baseball, their life becomes more normal, as they go to bed early, get up early, and don't go around playing electronic products or watch TV.
Over here, many are engaged in farming and doing labor-oriented jobs. Parents don't pay so much attention to the activities of their children, and it's easy for them to become bad kids.
You may be interested in playing baseball, but you still have other duties. You can put your studies aside.
About 1/2 of the children in the school are from disadvantaged families. This 10-year plan is not just to cultivate baseball players, but also train them to be brave. In the 6th grade, Kai Jie is one of the school leaders of this Little League team. Ethnically, he is half Bunun. Playing baseball is not just his interest, it's the main desire in his heart.
Playing professional baseball will allow me to earn enough money to raise a family and improve my family environment.
Their family was affected by a Typhoon Morakot disaster and settled in the Sanling Great Love community. Their living room has a number of signed baseballs, which serve as inspiration for Kai Jie.
My favorite one is this one, Wu Dongrong, because he's good at defense and he has a very good attitude.
What are my hopes? I just don't want him to turn out bad.
For many children growing up in their hometowns, their biggest need isn't economic assistance, but someone who has a temperament to accompany them while they grow. Playing baseball is not just about achieving their dreams, but also sowing the seeds of hope and inspiring these children to seek out more as they grow and mature.
Many people like to drink coffee, so what effect does caffeine have on the body? Today, there is some research that shows coffee can actually help in preventing certain types of cancers. Let's listen to what the doctors have to say on this internationally famous beverage.
The strong coffee aroma, many people aren't able to resist this temptation.
I must have a cup every morning right after breakfast. It's a habit.
After a cup of coffee in the afternoon, it eases the pace of life.
During the process of drinking coffee, it is really relaxing. It stabilizes my mood.
I am already used to it. If I don't drink it, my mood for the whole day would be just off.
Mr. Len, who is 70 years old, is an elderly man who has to have 2 cups of coffee every day. He said that drinking coffee is refreshing and it makes him more energetic. However, his wife is the opposite.
I really like the smell of coffee, but I'm afraid if I drink it, I'll not be able to sleep at night. I've already tried it before, where I drank it and I was up the whole entire night. Plus, I drank it during the daytime.
When one's body is sensitive, it will hinder you from falling asleep.
Caffeine looks like adenosine and will bind to the adenosine receptor. This will cause the nerve cells to speed up in the brain to give out the signal, which will result in our body to be flooded with adrenaline hormones. That's why some people think when you drink coffee, it will improve your concentration, alertness, and overall energy levels.
What's the impact of coffee on the human body? Studies have shown that coffee can reduce both the after-meal blood sugar spikes and incidences of diabetes. There's also a saying that antioxidants in coffee can prevent cancer.
At the moment, some studies are showing that coffee can reduce the risk of GI tract cancers, mainly oral cancer, liver cancer, and colorectal cancer, although more research still needs to be conducted to support the evidence.
For women with a low daily calcium intake, excessive amounts of caffeine may accelerate the loss of bone density and cause osteoporosis.
For women who are quite thin, high concentration of caffeine will also cause the probability of osteoporosis.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare suggests that the daily limit for caffeine is about 300 milligrams per day. This is about 3 to 4 medium-sized cups of coffee.
It is recommended not to add any sugar or creamers, just pure black coffee. The elimination of fine sugar and creamers is a big help in weight control and cardiovascular health. For those who think black coffee is too bitter tasting, you can add fresh milk to it.
Without any sugar and/or creamers, that's the healthiest way to drink coffee.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Johor Bahru, Malaysia have been busy rehearsing the sutra adaptation performances for Dharma's Water, set to take place this month. Of the onstage volunteers adopted a vegetarian diet for the total of 108 days, and it has motivated many to continue to be vegetarians. Let's check out their journeys.
The performance of Dharma as Water Sutra adaptation will be hosted in mid-September. Volunteers are busy in rehearsal while adopting a vegetarian diet for 108 days.
Our director said that this is a very solemn performance, and I was touched. That's why I chose to adopt a vegetarian diet.
Volunteers took turns to thoughtfully prepare delicious vegetarian dinners so that participants who came to practice after work can have a healthy and nutritious meal.
Many of them can rise from work, so it's more convenient to have dinner prepared for them. This can also encourage them to come to rehearsals and realize that adopting a vegetarian diet can be simple.
Vegetarian food can be diverse too. In the past, people thought that vegetarianism is all about artificial food. So now we try not to add processed food, but more tofu products and vegetables in our meals.
Some people have even decided to become vegetarian because of the experience.
I had vowed to adopt a vegetarian diet when I was little, but never followed through with it. Now I will continue to adopt a vegetarian diet because it's much healthier.
Volunteers practice the sutra adaptation diligently while adopting a vegetarian diet to pray for the success of the upcoming event.
At a temple in Malaysia's Penang, during the 7th lunar month, a Buddhist assembly is held, where participants bring food to worship their ancestors. Since the food usually gets spoiled and wasted, the temple master has encouraged people to use Jinsi food products as an alternative. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.